Hello everybody, this is Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and I'm going to do a pocket dom update. Let's see here, we'll do the boring stuff first. Phone, chapstick, nobody cares. I'm gonna do the update because a lot of people ask what tools I carry, what versions of the tools I carry, and why I carry them, so I figured we would just do a little video and go over it, and I'll tell you why I carry all the tools that I carry and what I use them for. Let's do this first. Notebook. Pocket notebook. This is the Log and Jotter. This is a brand that I recently got into. I really like them. I mean, it's not much different than a Field Notes, but there's the notebook. So I use this mostly for tracking numbers and orders for like knives coming in, gear coming in, and gear that I'm sending out. So I try to keep track of everything in here and have it on me, that way if a customer or whoever contacts me during the day and asks any type of question, I usually have the answer right here. And I also love to take notes on videos in one of these too. Ideas for videos, points that I want to make in a video, and lots of testing information goes into this. It's not like I just wing it with my testing. A lot of stuff gets written down. Obviously, you need a pen to go with the notebook. This is a tiny little one that I just got from somebody on Instagram. This pen is really cool. It's tiny, it's thin, it weighs nothing. The only thing I don't like is it's having trouble writing sometimes, and I'm figuring it's the ink. I don't know. It's weird. It'll write for like a few seconds and then it'll just kind of want to die on me, and it must just be the refill that I have in there. But I don't think that the metal casing of the pen would affect that at all. So yeah, I'll just do like a different type of refill or something. But the pen itself is awesome, and this is from Big Idea Design. I think it's called like a mini click pen, something like that. They also have a full size. So there's that. Hank. Always have a Hank. I have a ton of these, and I always resort to the old school cotton thin ones. I have a bunch. Sorry, I'm getting like eaten alive by mosquitoes here. I have a bunch from like Hank makers where they're beautiful and they are like double stitched and they have two different sides, and one is like for cleaning a camera lens and the other side is for who knows what, and they're beautiful, but they're a little stiff for me, and they also aren't absorbent. Like, my Hanks aren't used for photos. I actually use them to like absorb stuff and like wipe things. So I mean, everything from checking the oil on the mower to being outside doing yard work and having to wipe sweat off my face. I mean, it like literally, Hanks are awesome. I love the old school ones that are actually useful where they absorb liquid. So I go through them like crazy. I have to wash them a lot, but I always have one of those on me. Let's talk about the wallet. This is really beat up and it looks amazing. So this is from Ryan at Failsafe. He's actually based in New Hampshire with me. He's like 30 minutes away from me in Concord, and he does some of the most incredible leather work I've ever seen. I told him almost a year ago, throw a wallet together in the funkiest colors and make it not your average and just send it to me. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what it is. As long as it holds my cards, just send it to me. So he threw this together. This stitching is pretty faded, but it was a bright yellow. We've got some really nice maroon here, some sort of dark teal color. I believe the middle section is like a dark navy blue. It's just awesome. And I have a little brass bead on there from a local friend. But this is a really nice wallet, really well made. Obviously, I carry it every single day. And it's just holding up awesome. So I can't recommend Ryan's work enough. He does a lot of like lottos and drops. And he has some really cool wallets that are like a weird ghost leather where it's white but then it fades into a whiskey color or something over time. So he just has so many cool things. Check his work out. That's Ryan at Failsafe Goods. He's great. Pry Bar. This is a titanium one from John at BGM Knives, another New Hampshire guy. A lot of you guys will know John from BGM. So he does all types of metalwork, mostly known for his regrinds and his custom knives that he makes. I have a ton of his custom knives, but this Pry Bar I had him make for me. This thing is just a tank. I mean, I can do anything with this. It's a scraper. It's a Pry Bar. I have used the crap out of this, and you really... I wish my camera would pick up on things better. You really can't tell because it's just so well made. It doesn't look beat up. But you could do anything with this. It's actually fairly lightweight for the size. And this is for paint cans. I'm doing a lot of painting now for one of my jobs. The other day I was working on a three-wheel carriage type thing, and I actually, to get the tires off, I use this to pull the tires off of the rims. I mean, you don't realize how useful one of these are until you have one. So Pry Bar, always got one of those. Knipex Pliers. Don't ask me what size these are. I don't know. I'm sorry. Everybody asks me what size these are. I have no idea. There's like a number that was on here that's faded. I couldn't tell you. But they're small. They're not the smallest size that they have. I do know that, but they are very small. These are great for fence repairs, straight up. And honestly, I use these a lot for when I'm doing my lanyard beads. So a lot of the lanyard beads that I have a really small hole, and I use this to pull the leather tabs through, like to get a good purchase on it and pull them through. And I'm always like tinkering with leather and lanyards and knives. So these are great to have. I can't tell you how many times a day I use these. These are awesome. Let's see, Leatherman, old school Leatherman wave. I've tried a number of other Leathermans. I just like this one. I wish it wasn't so dang heavy, but I have a sheath on the way that'll be on my hip to hold this. The replaceable bits are ideal. I mean, I love this. I use my bit driver for like maintaining my knives and stuff because I just broke all of my tools for maintaining my knives, and I have a bit kit for this, and it's like much better quality than the tools that I did have that broke. So I pop this out, throw a Torx in there, a T8, a T6, whatever, to work on my Benchmades. Perfect. Taking clips on and off. Obviously a Phillips is useful for freaking anything. What else do I use on here a lot? Obviously the needle nose pliers get used a ton, but where is it? The file. I use the file on this thing a lot. The other day our sink broke. My roommate tried to fix it by putting a bunch of like tape around the faucet. It wasn't done right, and then it was being used. The threads were worn off from the water pressure, and it was all messed up, and I ended up just taking the whole head off of the faucet, and the threads were so worn that we can't put a new one on, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just leave it off, and I used the file to file away the remaining parts of the thread that were really sharp, and I didn't want anyone to cut themselves. But just having one of these on you, you can do basically anything if you have a Leatherman, a good Leatherman. Like, you can do almost any project. Anytime I'm working on a vehicle, a mower, whatever, always using this. And like I said, the bit kit, I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it's so worth it. You get 2 plastic like slides with, I want to say maybe 10 double-sided bits. It's awesome. I love having that. I love having all those tools in a little tiny compact carry. What would you call that? Little compact carry. Okay. This is the Tinker. I believe just the regular Tinker, not the Super Tinker. This really needs new scales. This poor thing is just dead. And it didn't have these scales on it originally. It had the red ones, then I took them off. I put these ones on. I should have used epoxy to put them on. I didn't. So they're popping off, especially because I have a pin in here. and every time I put the pin in, it pops the scale off a little bit because this thing is bent from being used so much. But that's a super cool like little hidey hole on these. There's a little tiny pinhole right there. And you can buy these little tiny pins in sets of like 4, and I use the pins all the time. So useful. Calluses, blisters, I pop them with the pin. Gross, but I do it. This screwdriver I honestly don't like. Not the screwdriver itself, but the configuration of the T. I don't find it useful. An aligned screwdriver is much better. That's why I carry the Wave. But I do use the reamer fairly often for drilling. The tweezers, use those all the time. Splinters, get them like at least 3 times a week. Toothpick, classic. What else we got on here? I don't use the blades a ton because I carry my other knife, but if I'm doing anything very fine, I'll pull this blade out. Especially if I'm cutting up like apples for the goats or something, I'd rather use this knife because it just works better. If you didn't know, we have goats, and I love feeding them the apples from our orchard. Can opener doesn't get a lot of use, but this does. The flathead. That one is awesome. Love using that. It's not just like a flathead. You can use it as a little pry bar too, and a little scraper. So always got this on me. But I also carry the little tiny mini champ as well, because this has a ton of really cool tools that you can't find anywhere else, really. And I'm telling you, the scissors on here are like a daily. Little tiny scissors. I cut my hangnails off with these all the time. Little threads, cutting the heads off of ticks. We're getting gross, but I'm not kidding. We have so many ticks here, and like I'm not going to carry a jar of alcohol around all the time, so I literally just take little ticks, cut their heads off. Not kidding. This has the titanium scales on it from Daily Custom Shop, and it just makes this feel awesome. The only screwdriver I have found that works for my Emerson knives is this tiny little inline Phillips that I have on here. Which, can I just talk about that for a second? Everyone's always saying, oh, Emersons are awesome because you can use anything to take the knife apart, and because it's a Phillips head that, they're Phillips screws that hold it together. This, like I said, this is the only screwdriver I've found that fits. It's not like my normal screwdriver fits in those tiny little screws, so I don't understand why people are always saying, you can use anything to take an Emerson apart. They're so simple. They don't strip, blah, blah, blah. You can use... Everyone has a Phillips. It's not like it's a normal size Phillips screw that's holding the knife together. It's like these tiny little Phillips, and I've only ever been able to use this tiny thing, so I don't know. But I really do carry this around because I can take my Emersons apart with it. I can't get the toothpick and tweezers out on this because they're stuck in the scales. I do use the cuticle pusher for my nails often. There's a tiny flat blade on here that's super useful. I use this a lot at my old job to cut the hoses off of the oil machines, which I have like a picture of, I think, on my page. But yeah, that's a really cool little razor blade right there. So this is an awesome little package, and it goes great with my other gear because it has a lot of stuff on it that I don't have on that other gear. We're almost to the really good part, the pocket knife. But first, flashlight. This is a 4.7's MK3. I don't know. I don't really care about the flashlights. I just carry one because I use them all day, but I'm not like obsessed with them. I literally just use one every single day, all the time. And I don't care what it is as long as it works. This one has a cool little UFO bead on it from a buddy. But yeah, this is the light for this month. I think it has like 4 modes maybe. Twist head. I don't care if it's a clicky or a twist head. Literally doesn't matter to me as long as it's small and it works when I need it to. Now, the fun part. The pocket knife. This month we're doing the Chris Reeve Small Sabenza 31 and S45 VN steel. So this is the daily. As you can see, it has been used. I got the micarta inlays on this one. They do not make a difference whatsoever other than looking cool. It's not like I have a better grip. It doesn't feel better. It literally just looks cool. Yeah, I don't think it feels any different at all. Got a little jade G10 bead on there from Z&C Metalworks. This steel is absolutely different from their S35V, and I can already tell. I've used this quite a bit the last few days, and it's completely different, straight up. I haven't even changed the edge angle on this. I haven't needed to. This steel is way different from their S35, and somebody asked me on one of my photos if I think their heat treat is just spotty or if I genuinely think that this steel is superior or different than the S35. I'm betting you it's actually different and superior than the S35, because it is like a whole new world of Chris Reeve with this. Way different. The retention is crazy. I've been using this a lot, and it's still got a really, really good edge on it. So the testing is going fantastic so far. You guys already know the blade does move up and down. Half of the people are saying that's a feature. Half of the people are saying it's bullshit. Who knows? I don't care. I'm not sending it in. It's not going to give out on me. I really would like the camera to pick up on how beat up this is already, but it's literally just not going to. Bummer. But yeah, so I've used this a lot already. I'll be using it for the rest of the month. Awesome EDC blade. Again, I always am advocating for lack of ergonomics being ergonomical, and this is a prime example of having essentially nowhere that the knife is going to tell you no if you put your hand, you know? Like, this thing has essentially no ergonomics, and I love that. I really like that I can hold it in any which way, and there's nothing stopping me. So this is awesome. And that is everything. That's my EDC. I know it seems like a lot, but I'm a busy girl. I do a lot of things. So I use my tools all day long. I'm not kidding. If I didn't have those, I'd be freaking useless on this place. Like, it's just really bad. I use my tools all day long. But anyway, that's the pocket dump. That's what I use my stuff for. And I will see you guys on the next video. Stay tuned for more updates on this bad boy. I've got updates going like crazy on my Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, please do at NotYourAverageEDC. Lots of photos of this getting used and abused. Which, you know what I'm going to say at the end of the video, use your shade.